Michael returned from a business trip to find his patient, David, in bed with his wife, Emily. David feigned innocence. "Ever since I've been with Emily, I feel like my condition has improved so much. Just be the kind soul and let me have her." Michael merely applauded, expedited the divorce, and divided the assets, wishing them a long and happy life together. Perfect. One was newly diagnosed with cancer, the other secretly HIV positive. Let's see who outlasts whom. A few days after his return to the hospital from the trip, Michael received devastating news. His wife, Emily, had liver cancer, already in its advanced stages. He sank into his office chair, tears streaming down his face. Michael and Emily had been married for 6 years. Their relationship had always been amicable. The only regret was not having children. They'd told everyone it was his issue, but in truth, she was infertile. Other than that, they got along swimmingly. Looking at the test results, Michael felt as if a colossal boulder was crushing his chest, making it difficult to breathe. How devastated would she be if she knew she had cancer? Her parents, who should be enjoying their golden years, would have to bury their own child. How could they endure such an unnatural tragedy? As these suffocating thoughts swirled in his head, a maelstrom of emotions overwhelmed him. He didn't know how to face any of it. Just then, a sudden ringtone jolted him back to reality. It was Emily. He wiped his tears, carefully masking all his emotions before answering. "David, are you back from your trip?" Unsure of how to face her, he lied, saying there was an emergency at the hospital and he couldn't return yet. Luckily, Emily didn't suspect anything and hung up cheerfully. Michael sat in his office the entire afternoon, gradually coming to terms with the situation. Instead of wallowing in despair, he decided it was better to go home and confront this with Emily. Even if it meant losing everything, he had to save her. He'd just taken off his white coat when he received a friend request on his phone, Emily's boyfriend. His heart lurched. A sense of foreboding washed over him. With trembling hands, he accepted the request. The man sent a photo. A woman's slender, fair arm was wrapped around his dark, muscular waist, a stark, sensual contrast. Michael knew that small scar on her arm all too well. It was Emily's. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. His heart felt as if it was being squeezed in a vice, a sharp pain making it hard to breathe. And he recognized the man in the photo, Daniel. Daniel had accompanied Emily to a doctor's appointment a while back. Emily had said he was a distant relative. Michael never imagined he was an AIDS carrier. He'd seemed so attentive to Emily. Back then, Michael had thought he was a decent young man. He couldn't believe he'd hooked up with his wife. The next second, Daniel's call came through. "David, you know who I am, right? I'm sorry. I didn't want to disrupt your marriage, but after being with Emily, I feel like my condition has really improved. Please, just be kind and let me have her. David, I'm begging you. Take pity on me. Besides, Emily and I got together a month ago. I just left your place an hour ago, David. She doesn't love you anymore. Let her go." Daniel's voice on the phone was laced with provocation, yet tinged with feigned weakness. A chill ran down Michael's spine. So, this adulterous pair had been at it for a month. No wonder Emily had called him earlier. She wanted to confirm if he was coming back from the trip so she could bring Daniel home. How could people be so shameless? And he'd actually cried for her. Right now, he wanted to rush over and slap her 10 times. He quickly did the math. Luckily, he'd been swamped since his recent promotion to department head and hadn't been intimate with Emily for 2 months. Otherwise, he'd be infected with that disgusting disease by now. He composed himself and asked, "How do you prove the person in the photo is Emily? Stop trying to frame my wife. I won't fall for your tricks and divorce her." Daniel got agitated. "You doubt me? I'll send you proof right now." He hung up and immediately flooded Michael's phone with photos, candid shots of him and Emily together, eating, shopping, kissing, and even a few intimate ones in bed. Michael bit his lip hard, his trembling fingers scrolling through the screen. His stomach churned uncontrollably. He quickly saved all the photos. How could she be so shameless? He turned off his phone, tears already streaming down his face. He wanted to tear those 2 scumbags limb from limb. He'd worked himself to the bone to support their family, never forgetting to remind her to eat on time, taking care of her parents for her, and this was how she repaid him. It was preposterous. She had single-handedly destroyed his faith in love and marriage. As a severe neat freak, he would never want a woman who'd been tainted like this. There was no need to continue this marriage built on hypocrisy and lies. The most important thing now was to get a divorce and reclaim what was rightfully his. One diagnosed with cancer, the other hiding AIDS. Let's see who outlasts whom. Michael took Emily's medical report to the oncology department to see his senior colleague. With a sorrowful expression, he handed him the report. "James, what are we going to do about this? I haven't told Emily yet. I'm afraid she won't be able to handle it." James read the report, his face grim. Many families of cancer patients feel the same way you do. But as doctors, we still hope the patients themselves can know the truth. Michael feigned wiping away tears, sniffling. "I really don't want to tell her. Maybe if she doesn't know, she'll live a little longer." Of course, he wasn't going to tell her. What if she found out, dragged her feet on the divorce, and used their joint assets for her treatment? James sympathized with him and sighed. "All right, I respect your decision. If there's anything you don't understand, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to help." After a moment, Michael composed himself and asked him gravely, "Emily, how long does she have in this condition?" "It's hard to say. Maybe 3 months, maybe 6. With active treatment, perhaps longer." What did he mean, perhaps longer? That wouldn't do. Before leaving the oncology department, Michael begged James to keep Emily's condition a secret for her own well-being. James agreed. Michael went back to his office and locked the medical report in his drawer, then headed home as if nothing had happened. Next up, the divorce. Regardless of who initiated it, he had to ensure he maximized his gains. When he got home, Emily was visibly startled but quickly regained her composure. "David, didn't you say you'd be busy at the hospital and back tomorrow?" A small smile played on Michael's lips. Her composure was indeed impressive. "No wonder I hadn't noticed her affair for a month." I nodded casually. "Things piled up at the hospital, so I thought I'd come back early. Then I grabbed my clothes and went to take a shower." As soon as I stepped out of the bathroom, Emily sidled up to me. Under the warm yellow light, her cheeks were flushed, her eyes hazy as she looked at me. "David, we haven't had any quality time together in so long. I'm so happy you're home early tonight." It was true. Since I became department head, I'd been increasingly swamped. All my focus was on work. Maybe that's why she'd hooked up with Daniel. Too long without marital affection. But hadn't I also been juggling work and family? Despite the loneliness, I'd remained faithful to my marriage and responsible for my family. So that was no excuse for her cheating. Besides, I'd just spoken to the AIDS-carrying guy this afternoon. Now she wanted to touch me. Disgusting. I looked at her with feigned helplessness. "I'm sorry, honey. My stomach's been acting up lately, and the doctor said I need to watch what I eat. Tonight's probably not a good idea." Her face instantly darkened. I fought back nausea and soothed her with gentle words. "But honey, why do you smell like men's cologne?" Hearing this, Emily looked guilty for a second and dropped her coyness. "It might be from a colleague at work. I'll go wash up right now." She quickly grabbed her clothes and rushed into the bathroom. I watched her coldly, a sneer on my face. Late-stage liver cancer meant at least 3 months to live. I needed to gather evidence and file for divorce from Emily quickly. I unlocked her phone and started collecting evidence. Her contacts and photo album were wiped clean, nothing. Then I checked her bank account and discovered she had transferred nearly $30,000 to an unfamiliar account in bits and pieces. There were also over a dozen hotel booking records. With every piece of evidence I found, my heart sank further until it hit rock bottom. She always appeared so glamorous and competent, but behind that facade was such a vile person. Luckily, I found out now before the losses were too great. I stared at her silhouette in the bathroom, a bitter yet triumphant smile on my face. "Emily, you deserve cancer. This must be karma for cheating." That night, I waited until she was asleep and then went to the guest room. I couldn't stand sleeping next to that vile woman. It made me sick. Emily woke me up in the morning. She even gave me a peck on the cheek. "David, why did you sleep in the guest room?" I fought the urge to push her away and said lightly, "I remembered last night I had a paper to revise. I didn't want to disturb you, so I came in here." I'd done this often before, so Emily wasn't suspicious. During breakfast, Emily's phone suddenly rang. She glanced at it. Her expression tensed, and she quickly took the call on the balcony. When she returned, her face was back to normal. "David, I can't spend time with you today. My boss just called about an urgent matter at the office. I have to go in now." I smiled magnanimously. "No problem. Work is important." Watching her rush out the door, I smirked. I knew exactly who she was going to meet. so I immediately changed and followed her. Half an hour later, I tailed Emily to a hotel. I set up my phone on a stand, hiding in a shadowy spot, ready to lie in wait. Just 10 minutes later, Daniel strolled into the hotel. He didn't even check in and headed upstairs like he owned the place. Another 20 minutes passed before I dialed 911. Hello? I want to report an illegal transaction happening right now. The location is the first hotel at the east intersection. The hotel was close to the police station, so the cops arrived quickly. With the police there, the front desk clerk cooperated and gave them Emily's room number. I followed behind the police, waiting for the show to begin, and turned on my camera to record the evidence. Just then, a male officer suddenly asked me, "What is your relationship to the person reported?" I immediately put on a pained look. "She's my wife." As soon as I said it, the officer looked at me with sympathy. At the door of the room, a policeman knocked. "Police, open up." Sounds of rustling came from inside, and a minute later, the door opened. Emily had an ingratiating smile on her face. "My boyfriend is inside. I'm a law-abiding citizen." I immediately squeezed past her from behind and gave her a hard slap across the face. I questioned her angrily. Well, Emily, didn't you say you were working overtime at the office? How did you end up in a hotel room? If I hadn't bumped into you while I was out shopping, I'd still be completely in the dark." When Emily saw it was me, she froze, her face instantly paling. I seized the opportunity, pushed her aside, rushed into the room, and started recording. "Daniel, scumbag. And you, bitch. Neither of you is getting away." Daniel, terrified, huddled under the blanket, trembling. Emily frantically tried to stop me. "I'm sorry, David. Let me explain. It's not what you think. I'll handle this. Just give me some time. I've been under a lot of stress lately. That's why this happened." "David, please don't be angry. What a joke. Does stress give you a free pass to cheat? If that were the case, I could have cheated countless times." I didn't listen to her excuses and slapped her a few more times. Finally, the police pulled me away. "All right, stop fighting. Both of you come with me to the station." At the police station, because of the previous transfer records, none of Emily and Daniel's excuses held water. The police determined it was an illegal transaction. Both were sentenced to 15 days in detention. Leaving the police station, I let out a deep breath. After I got home and was about to rest, my in-laws showed up. Emily's mother started questioning me the moment she walked in. "David, what's going on? I heard you called the cops on Emily and had her arrested." "Well, look at you. Quite the big shot now, aren't you?" I looked at her coldly. "Your daughter is out there paying for sex. Now she clearly has no respect for me, her husband. What's wrong with me calling the police on her?" Emily's mother glared at me fiercely. "Paying for sex? What are you talking about? We all know Daniel. He even gave me a set of cosmetics a few days ago. He's much better than a useless man like you." I had to laugh. So Emily's mother knew about Daniel. I was the only one left in the dark. This whole family was ganging up on me. How ridiculous. Just a set of cosmetics, and she'd completely forgotten all the designer bags and jewelry I'd bought her before. I looked at her mockingly. "Since you like Daniel so much, you should hurry up and convince your daughter to divorce me. I don't want to be with her anymore, either." Emily's mother raised her eyebrows and shouted, "Fine, a divorce it is. You useless freeloader. I'll have my daughter dump you as soon as she's back." She then stormed out, slamming the door. I sat on the sofa and saved the recording. 15 days later, Emily was released. When I saw her at the doorstep, my heart skipped a beat. The battle was finally about to begin. Emily's lips trembled, her fingers shook, and her eyes were red. "David, I'm sorry. I know I was wrong. It was just a whim. I don't really like him. Can you give me another chance? I promise I'll cut ties with him completely." Her time in detention didn't seem to have been easy. She had lost a lot of weight. She wasn't doing well, and that reassured me. She could cut ties, but she herself was already tainted. I looked down at her. "Emily, if sorry fixed everything, we wouldn't need police. Cut the crap. Let's get a divorce." At my words, a flicker of panic crossed Emily's eyes. "Divorce? How can you just say something like that?" "David, I messed up. I'll agree to anything you say, but we can't get divorced." It was truly laughable, her speechless admission of guilt while still trying to avoid divorce. I initially chose to marry her out of all the women I was set up with because I admired her strong career woman persona. It seems you can't truly know the person sleeping next to you until you're at the point of divorce. "Emily, You should have thought of this day when you were cheating. I simply can't accept this situation. Are you worried about the marital assets? Don't worry. Even though you wronged me first, I won't be completely merciless. If you have any decency left as a woman, just sign the divorce papers. Emily quickly explained, No, it's not about the assets. I just can't bear to leave you. We've been together for so many years. I really can't live without you. I was utterly speechless, tears welling up in my eyes. Then I grabbed the laundry pole from the balcony and slammed it onto Emily's back. Emily, you're such a hypocrite. Can't live without me. Then why did you cheat on me with someone else? I don't want to say another word to you. Just sign the divorce papers and let's part ways amicably. I had no patience for her arguments. I just packed my things and went back to my parents' house. After staying at my parents' for a few days, they sensed something was wrong between Emily and me. My mom asked cautiously, David, why are you staying home lately? Did you and Emily have a fight? Did she wrong you? Looking at their worried faces, my eyes reddened. After a long pause, I said, Mom, Emily, she's not a good person. She cheated on me. I want a divorce. I told them everything. My mom hugged me, her heart aching for me, her voice filled with anger. I can't believe Emily is so despicable. That heartless bitch. To think I treated her like my own daughter, always saving the best for her. We can't have someone that vile in our family. Divorce. You absolutely have to divorce her. Don't be afraid, son. Mom and Dad have got your back. My dad was so angry he slammed the table. That scoundrel. Son, should I find someone to teach her a lesson? I quickly stopped him. Mom, Dad, don't worry. I can handle this little mess myself. A few days later, I saw that Daniel had updated his social media. I love you. From dusk till dawn, from cold winter to warm spring, from a second to a lifetime, endlessly in a ceaseless cycle. The accompanying picture was a photo of him and Emily. This time, he wasn't hiding anything. Emily's face was clearly visible. I quickly saved the photo. One with late-stage cancer, the other an AIDS carrier. I hoped, as his post said, they would truly be bound together for all eternity. I thought the divorce would be quick, but Emily didn't make a move. Maybe it was because the property division in the divorce agreement was very unfavorable to her. Of our 3 properties, I got 2 and all our current savings, meaning apart from 1 property and 1 car, she got nothing. Well, too bad. I wasn't budging on the asset division. She was the one who cheated first. But before Emily signed the divorce papers, Daniel actually came looking for me. He stopped me at the hospital entrance. David, can we talk in a cafe? In the cafe, Daniel put on a deeply affectionate act. David, I know you and Emily met through an introduction. You haven't had children all these years. She has no feelings for you. Just let her go and let us be happy. Emily told me she's known for a long time that she's infertile. I'm different. I have a son with my ex-girlfriend, and Emily already treats him like her own. I can give Emily a complete family. He then sighed, feigning helplessness. Besides, you know about my illness. Since I met Emily, I feel much healthier. Doctor, just take pity on me. He said it all so self-righteously and hypocritically, without a shred of shame for wrecking someone else's family. He really was just like Emily. If you know someone has a partner, you should keep your distance, especially with a condition like yours. Even if you genuinely liked each other, you should have been upfront with me, not resorted to such despicable methods to hurt an innocent person like me. Daniel, you really have no shame, do you? Do you enjoy being the other man that much? At work, I always maintained a gentle and refined demeanor. Perhaps he didn't expect me to be so blunt. His face froze, then he dropped the act. David, you're just a lousy doctor. Who do you think you are, acting so high and mighty? Don't you think you're pathetic? Married for 6 years and still couldn't keep your wife's heart. I just snapped my fingers and she came running. The one who isn't loved is the third wheel. If I were you, I'd have divorced long ago. Why humiliate yourself? Daniel tried to provoke me, but any feelings I had for Emily had vanished the night I found out about her affair. So his words had no effect on me. I looked at him calmly. Instead of wasting your time with me, you'd be better off trying to persuade Emily. I already asked for a divorce. Now I'm just waiting for her to sign the papers. It was a good thing they got together when they did. Actually, I should thank him. Otherwise, how would I have seen this dying bitch for who she really is so quickly? I certainly don't want to waste my energy on them. And money on her when she's bedridden. What do you mean? Daniel seemed incredulous that I wasn't playing by a script. I gave him a generous smile. Nothing. I just have this thing about being a neat freak. I can't stand anything dirty, whether it's Emily as a person or your disease. All I want now is for you to put some effort in and get Emily to sign those papers quickly. I don't want anything to do with either of you ever again. He clearly didn't believe me. David, what tricks are you playing? Are you trying to set me up again? Such a twisted way of thinking. No wonder he was the other man. Think whatever you want, you heartless piece of crap. Then I slapped him right across the face. You destroyed my family. I'm just returning the favor. Fair enough, right? He picked up the tea on the table, intending to throw it at me. I looked at him mockingly. If you throw that at me, I'll tell Emily you're an AIDS carrier. Hearing that, Daniel immediately backed down and put the cup down. Then I leisurely walked away under his hateful gaze. However, Daniel did remind me the divorce needed to be settled quickly. Otherwise, what if Emily ended up bedridden? It would be much harder to get out of it. The next morning, I went to Emily's office. Seeing me at the company entrance, she looked like she was facing an enemy. Emily was a government employee. Although her position wasn't high, if any scandal about her conduct got out, she'd lose her job. People were coming and going at the company entrance, glancing our way. Emily, looking guilty, quickly pulled me aside. David, what are you doing here? Without a word, I took the divorce agreement out of my bag and put it in front of her. Nothing much, just here to talk about the divorce. Emily tried to take my hand, but I immediately stepped back. Her eyes looked hurt. David, I just made a mistake any woman could make. I don't want a divorce. Can't you forgive me this once? Besides, I have no contact with Daniel anymore. What kind of classic cheater lines were these? I really wanted to pry open her skull and see what was inside. I looked at her coldly, then showed her the photo Daniel had sent me over the past few days. Ever since I moved back to my parents' place, she'd been all over that scumbag every day. Is this what you call no contact, Emily? I originally wanted to give you a chance, but you've shown me zero respect. You turned around and got back with him immediately. You've shattered my heart. How can I possibly trust you after this? Don't say anything else. If you don't want me to expose your dirty laundry, then sign the papers. Stop wasting my time, okay? Hearing this, Emily's eyes immediately reddened, a flicker of heartbreak in them. David, you're so cruel. Everyone makes mistakes. Why are you holding this one thing against me and won't let go? Me? Cruel? You cheated first. The fact that I haven't exposed your scandal and made you leave with nothing is already merciful. Don't try to bargain with me. If you keep dragging this out, don't blame me for taking you to court. Hearing me say that, Emily's expression softened and she finally signed the divorce agreement. Once the agreement was signed, I eagerly dragged Emily to City Hall, afraid she'd change her mind. The moment I got the acknowledgement slip, I breathed a sigh of relief. Now we just had to wait for the cooling-off period to pass, and we'd be officially divorced. Afterward, I changed all the locks at home and cleared out everything we didn't need, especially the bed in the bedroom. The thought of those two scumbags having fooled around on it made me sick to my stomach. Emily also moved in with Daniel, starting their shameless life together. For many days after, it was as if Emily had dropped off the face of the earth. She didn't contact me. Daniel was quiet, too. I felt uneasy, afraid she already knew about her cancer. After more than 20 anxious days, I sent Emily City Hall tomorrow, 10 a.m. A reply came back quickly. Don't worry, David. I'll go. I let out a cold laugh, feeling a sense of calm. The next morning, I dressed neatly, feeling refreshed and sharp, and set off for City Hall. When I arrived, Emily was already there, and Daniel was standing beside her, strutting like a proud peacock. Seeing me, he gave a disdainful smile. David, you made it. I thought you chickened out. I snorted inwardly. I hope you can smile just as happily the day you find out Emily has liver cancer. They were being so conspicuous that passers-by couldn't help but glance at the three of us. Emily looked a bit awkward. All right, let's not make a scene here. Let's just go in. It wasn't until I held the divorce decree in my hand that I truly felt at ease. Outside the building, Emily said with a guilty look, David, I'm really sorry about this. I gave her a cold glance. You don't need to explain anything to me. We're strangers now. If you genuinely feel guilty, please don't ever show your face in front of me again. Hearing this, Emily seemed even more remorseful. David, if you ever need anything in the future, you can always contact me. If I can help, she already had one foot in the grave and still insisted on offering help. Who gave her the audacity? Besides, I didn't want any more contact with her. No need. I cut her off. It's better if we remain strangers. Emily hadn't expected me to be so ruthless. She stepped forward, trying to grab my hand. I was utterly disgusted and slapped her hard across the face. Emily, can you get away from me? You're disgusting. You're the one who cheated during the marriage. Now that we're divorced, who are you putting on this devoted act for? Emily was stunned by the slap, looking at me with disbelief. I flexed my stinging palm, looking at her nonchalantly. I wanted to do that for a long time. I only held back because I was afraid she wouldn't agree to the divorce. Now that we're divorced, what the hell do I have to fear? I didn't cripple her only because she was dying soon. That slap was for your infidelity. You owed me that. The people watching around us also figured out what was going on and started whispering. Emily, humiliated, glared at me with cold, hateful eyes. Daniel shrieked. David, are you crazy? Why did you hit her? I shoved him away. Shouldn't I hit her? And you, so eager to be the other man, huh? Seeing her lover pushed away, Emily immediately raised her hand to hit me. I quickly pulled out my phone, looking at her defiantly. Emily, if you dare lay a finger on me today, a video of your little scandal will be in your boss's email inbox by tomorrow. Want to try me? Hearing this, Emily reluctantly lowered her hand, merely glaring at me fiercely. I ignored them and turned to leave. Today's big scene had destroyed any lingering affection between us. She probably wouldn't have the nerve to contact me again. Not long after I got home, Daniel intentionally sent me their marriage certificate. Talk about a seamless transition. I just smiled. Those two bastards were finally tied together. I couldn't wait to see if he'd still be in such a good mood when Emily was bedridden. Emily and I had been married for many years, so our social circles overlapped. I knew about her and Daniel's recent situation. I heard Daniel claiming it was his first marriage, insisted Emily throw him a grand wedding. But Emily was very image conscious. If she got remarried right after a divorce, it would definitely look bad for her. Daniel threw several tantrums over it, and Emily, left with no choice, eventually caved. I looked at the invitation Daniel sent and smirked. For their wedding, as the victim, I absolutely had to give them a big gift. On the wedding day, the place was packed with guests. Their wedding was held at a 5-star hotel. The scene was both grand and romantic. Judging by the scale, it must have cost a fortune, much grander than my wedding. When I arrived, Emily's parents were introducing their new son-in-law to others. I just pursed my lips. Let's see if you can still smile in a little while. I had just sat down when Daniel spotted me. David, you're late. I thought you wouldn't dare to come. He was all smiles in front of me, looking like a victor. I smiled back. How could I miss it? Thanks to you too. I've been given a new lease on life. I absolutely had to deliver a special gift in person. Soon the ceremony began. The new couple gracefully walked to the center of the stage, beaming with pride. The MC was saying some blessings. On the large screen behind them, their wedding photos were being displayed. Soon the photos froze. What appeared on the big screen instead was a liver cancer diagnosis report and an HIV viral load test report. Emily's and Daniel's names were on them respectively. The venue fell silent instantly. Even the MC didn't know what to say. Then the entire wedding hall erupted in an uproar. Huh? The bride has cancer? Looks like it's late stage, too. She probably doesn't have long to live. And the groom has AIDS? What are these two playing at? Mutual marriage fraud. Emily and Daniel stared at the diagnostic reports on the screen, both in utter disbelief. Liver cancer, AIDS. The two of them instantly panicked, and the parents who had just been exchanging compliments were now fighting, each accusing the other of marriage fraud. The scene descended into total chaos. My goal achieved, I quickly slipped out. Later, I heard from a friend who was there that the bride and groom, both feeling deceived by the other, came to blows before the wedding was even over. Daniel was taken away by his parents. Emily rushed to the hospital. The test results confirmed not only liver cancer, but also an HIV infection. She was admitted immediately. The next day, I was picking out furniture when Emily's call came through. She started questioning me right away. David, were you the one who pulled that stunt at my wedding? And you knew about my liver cancer all along? Why didn't you tell me? Have you no conscience? I replied coldly. Well, when you were cheating, where was your conscience? With that, I hung up and blocked all her contact methods. What she didn't know was that the day I found out about her cancer, I was devastated. I would have given up everything to save her life, but ultimately my efforts were wasted on the wrong person. After a while, another call came in from an unknown number. No doubt it was Daniel. His voice sounded like it was laced with venom. "David, you knew Emily didn't have long to live, didn't you? That's why you rushed the divorce and dumped this piece of trash on me." I laughed. "Weren't you hell-bent on marrying her? What, regretting it now? You know, you should learn to be grateful. There aren't many original spouses like me who gracefully step aside and let the other person take over." Daniel was furious. "David, you're so malicious. Aren't you afraid of karma?" I laughed and hung up. "I don't know if I'll face karma, but yours is coming soon." After that, I went back to work peacefully, paying them no more attention. But I never expected Emily's parents to show up at my company. I was just finishing lunch and about to go upstairs when they blocked me downstairs. "David, you knew Emily was sick all along, so you deliberately divorced her to cheat her out of her house, didn't you? What a venomous heart for a husband. How could you do that? I won't argue with you now. Just give back the money and the house." They were making a huge scene, and a crowd had gathered. Some people who didn't know the truth started whispering. "What's going on? He abandoned his wife just because she got cancer? So young, yet so cruel. Yeah, how can someone be like that?" My colleagues who knew the whole story quietly tugged my sleeve, signaling me to go upstairs. I smiled reassuringly at them. "Go upstairs? No way. If there's a first time, there'll be a second. This time I was going to make sure they'd never think of bothering me again." I looked at the two people before me, their eyes practically bulging with rage, and said, "Your daughter cheated on me first. The fact I didn't make her leave with nothing was already saving her face, and you still have the nerve to come find me? Besides, I have no relationship with Emily anymore. Why should I hand over my assets? Are you two getting senile? Did you forget your daughter just got married? That man with AIDS is your son-in-law." With that, I showed the videos and audio recordings I had previously made to the onlookers. After listening, everyone looked at them with contempt. What kind of people are these? They mocked him for being useless before, and now they're here asking for money. So shameless. Yeah, it was clearly his daughter who cheated first. The house should rightfully belong to him. Hearing the surrounding chatter, Emily's parents' faces turned pale and then green. So they could feel shame, after all. Seeing my firm stance, they tried another tactic. They knelt directly in front of me. "David, please just take pity on us. Can you please return the house to Emily? She really needs a lot of money for her treatment now. We were wrong before. We went too far. Please, for our old age, help us. We'll definitely treat you as our savior from now on." Were they trying to guilt trip me? But my heart had long been shattered by them beyond repair. I stepped aside. "I'm also a victim in this farce. You're not getting any money from me. However, your precious daughter transferred nearly $30,000 to your new son-in-law. You can go ask him for it. If you come looking for me again, I'll call the police. If you go too late, the money might not be there anymore." The two old folks looked at each other and finally left dejectedly. I watched their retreating backs and smiled. The dog-eat-dog fight was about to begin. Heeding my words, Emily's parents immediately went to Daniel to demand the money. Daniel had only gotten together with Emily for her job and earning potential. Getting money from him now was absolutely impossible. He just collapsed on the ground, cursing Emily out, calling her a good-for-nothing heartless bitch. He said the biggest regret of his life was getting involved with her, that she had ruined his life, and why wasn't she dead yet? I forwarded the video to Emily. She called me back immediately. "David," her voice was hoarse and weak. "She must have suffered a lot recently. I finally see Daniel's true colors. Now I regret it. Can you come to the hospital to see me? I've really missed you lately." I scoffed. "Missed me? More like missed my money, right?" I replied coldly. "Emily, please watch your words. I am no longer your husband. Your husband is Daniel. Also, there's no magic pill for regret in this world. You made your bed, now lie in it." With that, I hung up. Later, a friend told me Emily's condition worsened that same night. What I didn't expect was that Emily's parents, though old, still had a few tricks up their sleeves. When directly asking for money failed, they hired some local thugs to harass Daniel daily. They also loudly broadcasted his glorious deeds throughout the neighborhood. Now, everyone in the complex knew. Many people looked at him with disdain. Some elderly folks even pointed at him openly, calling him shameless. "You're a homewrecker. That's immoral enough. Now you're clinging to her life, saving money." "Exactly. I think you should just move out of this neighborhood. You're embarrassing all of us." Daniel, despite his poor character, had always pretended to be a respectable guy in the neighborhood. Being cursed at like this and harassed by thugs day in and day out, he had a complete mental breakdown. In the end, he returned all the money. It was all for nothing. He'd lost on all fronts. Finally, unable to stomach it, he spilled the beans to Emily's workplace. Due to the severe negative impact of the incident, her employer fired Emily. Hearing this news, Emily couldn't take the blow and was admitted to the ICU. Daniel seized this opportunity and filed for divorce. When dogs fight, they both get bitten. A month later, Emily didn't make it. She passed away. Emily's parents sold their house and all their belongings, but still couldn't save their daughter. Unable to bear the shock, they, too, passed away not long after. As for Daniel, his reputation was ruined and he was already sick. He had to move to another city and got involved in illicit activities. Due to a lack of precautions, he infected several people with AIDS. One of the women, infuriated, came after him with a knife to settle scores. He ended up stabbed to death in a foreign land. That whole family, you could say, was all neatly reunited in the afterlife. Perhaps this is what people mean by evil gets its due.